quickly, I would like to introduce our keynote speaker for today, in the person of Mr. Femi Falana, SAN. Femi Falana studied law at the University of Ife, now Obafemi Awolowo University, and the Nigerian Law School. Since he was called to bar in July 1982, he has been in active legal practice, majoring in human rights and international humanitarian law. He is in the forefront of the struggle for the defense and promotion of human rights, democracy, and accountability in Africa. Apart from his regular appearances in Nigerian courts, Femi Falana has represented victims of human rights abuse at the African Commission on Human and People's Rights in Banjul, the Gambia, Community Court of Justice in Abuja, Nigeria, and African Court on Human and People's Rights in Arusha, Tanzania. Apart from the promotion of political and civil rights, Mr. Falana's law has ensured the recognition and protection of the socio-economic rights of the Nigerian people by local and international tribunals. Thus, the courts have upheld the rights of Nigerians to protest without police permits, the right of police women to marry without permits, the right of every Nigerian child to free and compulsory basic education, the right of undergraduates to education loan, the right of underprivileged citizens to access loans for business without collateral, the right of citizens to protection and security of life, and the rights of people of the oil-producing communities in the Niger Delta region to a safe and healthy environment. However, he has been honored for his consistent defense of human rights and rule of law. His many awards include the American Bar Association International Human Rights Awards, 1986, the Defender of the Year Award from the International League of Human Rights, New York, 2000, Kwame Nkrumah Leadership Award, Ghana, 2006, but to name a few. It also includes the House of Representatives at Boston Council, United States, 1998, and the prestigious Bernard Simmons Human Rights Award by the International Bar Association, 2008, Knight of Freedom Award by the Legal Aid Council of Nigeria, 2009, Gani Faweyemi Lifetime Award on Human Rights from the Hallmark of Labor Foundation, Nigeria, 2011, Promoter of Human Rights Jurisprudence in Africa. The list is very long. Please join me and put a round of applause for Mr. Femi Falana, SAN.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm sorry I had to rush out because I'm still rushing to court. I just took time. My case is too down for me. Please sit down, please. Distinguished architects, ladies and gentlemen. They say in Nigeria, all protocols observed. Outside Nigeria, I've never heard that anywhere. But it's a Nigerian phenomenon. All protocols duly observed. I was very reluctant to accept the invitation of the Lagos State chapter of Nigerian architects. But as I was planning to write a polite letter, Klein, come here. Lo and behold, architect Majekodun and architect Agai walked into my office, and so my hands were tied. Hence, I'm here on this occasion. I thank love for this opportunity, wonderful opportunity. But I am not going to leave you with the usual words of praise and exhortation. This year, I'm going to give you an assignment so that when we meet, hopefully next year, we can find out how far we have gone. Because the greatest tragedy for the black man is that every day we wake up to complain. Each of us in our area. As I was coming to this August occasion this morning, a senior lawyer was complaining to me. What is going on in the courts? I said, what are you doing about it? He said, it's only people like you can do something. I said, no, all of us can do something about it. And he said, what do I mean, sir? I said, on one occasion, I was in the Supreme Court. It took 1 hour, 15 minutes to record an appearance of lawyers. 1 hour, 15 minutes. And I told my colleague, I look at the whole proceedings. If you have to have 4 cases, and you have to record the appearance of lawyers, that will be about 5 hours. After the 5 hours, nothing will happen that day. And in our course, they still write longhand. And I told my colleague, I went to the Chief Justice. We can't continue like this. He said, what do you mean, Femi? My Lord, we have to reduce the number of lawyers who can appear for a litigant in court. He said, oh, that is why we now have maximum of 5 lawyers. The rest will sit down and listen. Now, for us, I am very embarrassed to be here. Very embarrassed. Because every year, and this morning, we're all talking about, everybody who has spoken here, we're talking about building collapse. We shall decide today what to do about it. And that is my own submission here. What can we do about it? A few weeks ago, a 7-story building collapsed in Banana Island. Banana is where the bourgeoisie live in Lagos. You know what it means to say you are in Banana Island? It's a banana republic. But with profound respect, the inhabitants there are also very careless that a 7-story building had to collapse. The Lagos State government was so embarrassed by its reaction. And the reaction was very embarrassing that we didn't know about that building. You didn't know. That's what the Lagos State government said officially. And nobody has been fired. At least somebody was negligent. Somebody is assigned to supervise buildings around that area. And that is what you must do, architects. You must ensure that we pursue those who are messing us up, who are killing our people. We're all happy. Nobody died, but at least one poor man died. Not a big man, but a poor man died in that incident. Barely a week later, in the GRA in Ikeja, a 5-story building collapsed. Oh yes, last Sunday. It was very bit quiet about it. It's becoming very embarrassing. But I'm sure you're all aware of the collapse of the 21-story building in Ikoyi here. Please quote me. Because we're represented, we as the Lagos State government to institute an inquest. So my law firm was represented. And we do that for all unlawful killings in Lagos. We ensure that investigation is carried out. In this instance, that building was supposed to be a 4-story building. Kunle Bodu, you are aware. It later became 6. It became 12, 15, and 21. That can only happen in a banana republic. I'm not talking about Banana Island. If you look at your Google, what is a banana republic? It's a republic where there's no rule of law. It's a primitive area. How can a 4-story building metamorphose it to a 21-story building? Nobody has been charged with any offense. People died. In Kenya, a man was arraigned in court yesterday for multiple murders because he made members of his church to believe that they need to go hungry to receive the Lord Jesus Christ. And 41 of them died. He was charged yesterday. And we must do that here. When a building collapses, what does the law say? It is that those who are responsible must be brought to book. Before coming here this morning, I just sent a letter to the Attorney General of Lagos State. Because yesterday, the driver of the train, the ill-fated train, was charged with manslaughter. I'm sure you read about that. What of the management of the Nigerian Railway Corporation? I've just sent a letter to the Attorney General. If you are not ready to prosecute them, please give me the fiat. And I named two of them. The managing director of the NRC, Nigerian Railway Corporation, and the Lagos State district manager. You know why? When all of us were growing up, we had train in Lagos, but there used to be this metal barrier. When the train is coming, there will be a madman who wants to make a fast one. And so the train, somebody with a red flag, will come down with the barrier. And when the train has gone, the thing will move. So what has happened? In the last 5 years, 2018, 2019, and now, about 18 people have died in Lagos through preventable train accidents. So we want to make the last one the last one. And that is why we are going to get the management of NRC pursued. And we are also going to call to insist that the barriers be installed all over the country so that we can stop avoidable deaths of our people. The same way, you must take a copy of your own law. The architects have a law. A law was promulgated by the government based on your demand. And it is titled the Architects Registration, etc. Act, Cap A19 of 2004, A19 of 2004. That is the law that requires every trained architect in Nigeria to be registered. And your registration is renewable. If a foreigner wants to practice in Nigeria, you must be registered. And it's not automatic. You have to go through some test to find out whether you have been properly trained where you are coming from. Under the law, any fake architect, anybody who parades himself as an architect, who is neither trained nor registered, has committed an offense. And is liable to imprisonment about 2 years. If a petition is written against an architect, of course you know you have a tribunal, investigating tribunal, to investigate and mete out punishment. That body is headed by your president. So I'm therefore urging you to apply the provisions of your law. Lawyers are very, very jealous. And I want you to be jealous like lawyers. Nobody in Nigeria can practice law without a sanction. Lawyers will invade the court once they have the information that somebody stands up in court to announce himself as a lawyer when he has not been called to the Nigerian bar. And lawyers will pursue him until he's prosecuted and jailed. So there are people who are languishing in prison custody in Nigeria for pretending to be lawyers, whereas they are not lawyers. That must happen to architects and the entire building industry. There is a body in Lagos funded by some of you outside your own professional bodies. It's called Guild and Building Collapse Guild. Dr. Majo Kodumi is active in that body. My very good friend, Builder Kunle Awobodu, is very active in that body. Every Koblas building in Lagos, that body goes there to find out what is amiss, Unfortunately, most of the time, it runs to problems with the ministry. I've therefore suggested, forget the ministry. Anytime you have done your report, let me have a copy of the report on your behalf. I will write to the Attorney General to demand prosecution. If they are not willing to prosecute, the law allows us to ask for fiat to prosecute, particularly where a human being may have died. And we have this case of Femi and Akilu, when Delegiwa was killed by a parcel bomb under the military. Gani pursued the matter from the High Court to the Court of Appeal. The High Court said it was a medusa interloper, kilo coin. Gani, what is your problem? Delegiwa was not your brother or your whatever. He said, no, he was my client and friend. Court of Appeal, he said you are medusa interloper and the High Court. Court of Appeal, they say it was a busybody. But on getting to the Supreme Court said, no. You cannot say Gani has no local standard. In the Garden of Eden, Cain could say, am I my brother's keeper? But in Nigeria, the word brother is not like the English concept of brother that talks of blood relationship. Here, all of us are our brother's keepers. That was how the anachronistic doctrine of local standard public didn't collapse. I pray you are not involved. Henceforth, we are going to insist on prosecution of those whose criminal negligence led to that. And we're very lucky here that our law is almost asleep. Unfortunately, the madam representing the governor has gone. She was talking of rule of law. Yes, some rule of law. Not full rule of law yet. You know, in America, somebody addressed you from America. The last building collapsed, I think, in Florida. All those who are involved are going to liquidate. Because they are going to pay about $21 million as damages. Here, unfortunately, in the 21-story building collapse, somebody briefed my love from a family. They lost somebody there who was visiting home from England. The owner invited him to look at the apartment. Unfortunately, he lost his life. I now try to send for the family. Now that the coroner has issued this report and blamed the Lagos state government for negligence, all the agencies involved in the approval were blamed by the coroner. Please, can you come so that we can go to court for you? He said, well, Mr. Falana, we want the dead to be forgotten. We don't want to be reminded. And that is one of the reasons why we get away with a lot of illegalities here. But for a body like your own, sir, we are going to agree today that I am going to render my services pro bono publico to your body so that from today we can make Lagos a new and functional organism. Please sit down. Please sit down. Please, we are going to agree today. Because that's the challenge I have before you. Whatever is going to cost us, we shall make our services available. I've already, Dr. Architect, I've already set up a team of lawyers in my office to be fully responsible for this assignment. Because I may be busy. But I don't want you to come and say, Mr. Falana, we can't locate you. You'll be able to locate some lawyers in my office. My very good friend here, Awobodu, constantly harasses us to take some actions. Now, I also want you to join in harassing us to take actions. Your body, there are some agencies in the Ministry of Physical Planning in Lagos State, architects are members. In fact, there are times when an architect is the commissioner of physical planning in Lagos. I don't know the current one, but I think Salako is one of you. Huh? Yeah, a town planner. He ran that ministry at Grand. Quote me. And I challenge him on many occasions. And please, I beg you, you must encourage the new wake-up call. We have harassed Lagos State government sufficiently that the state government is now waking up to remove illegal structures. But the ministry is not equipped to do that effectively. They don't have enough people to go around and monitor illegal buildings that are going on. And because of corruption, the Ministry of Physical Planning, you go there, please, can you approve my building plan? They say, no, go ahead. We shall approve it along the way. Once you pay, that is the language. A client of ours lost his building recently. It was demolished. It's based in America. So he called me, Mr. Falana, you have to go to court for me. I want to claim damages. I said, gentleman, where are you in America? He said, I'm in California. Very good. Can you dig a hole in your backyard in California without an approval? He said, no, that's not possible. So you think we are primitive here? So please, let us now begin to apply our law. There are some authority. An architect is a member by law. Lagos State Building Control Agency, an architect is a member by law. And Lagos State Urban Renewal Agency, an architect is a member. Please, can you ensure, Mr. Chairman, that the persons that will represent your organization in these agencies report to you regularly? You monitor them so that you are well represented. Otherwise, they will just be there marking time, just like any of the other agencies. If these bodies are working, if your members in these bodies are active, the question of building collapse may be a thing of the past in this state. And Lagos occupies a prominent place in our country. They will tell you, Lagos is the 5th largest economy in Africa. Abi, not be said and tell us. But in what way are you behaving like the 5th largest economy? You go to Ghana, there is law and order. You go to South Africa, there is law and order. When you land at Accra Airport, you have to adjust yourself. But at the Muritala Mohammed Airport here, we are big people. You have some big people already passing under the fence in order to jump the queue, which you cannot do in London or whatever. So here, let us start with the building industry. The entire organization that are in the building industry, you must also ensure that you take control. Because if a building collapses, you can't say, oh, the civil engineer must have caused it, or electrical engineer must have been responsible. The members of the public do not want to know about that. They simply want to know that the era of building collapse, is gone and must go forever. I therefore want to conclude by urging you to take more than a passing interest in the affairs of our country. And you must start with the politics of Lagos State. You can't be paying taxes if you are not interested in what they are doing with your money. America, they say, no representation without taxation. Once you pay your tax, you must find out what is going on. And you must ask questions. The last time I had a problem with the tax people, I said, Mr. Falana, somebody in my office, my wife, says she's not paying enough. I said, I beg your pardon. You better manage what we are paying. He said, what do you mean? And this must go for all of us. Taxes are for good roads, security, water supply, electricity supply. Which one do you provide? Which one? If you insist, I have no problem. By the time I come with my bills for 1 year, you have to return some money to me. The reason is this. We have a generator in our house and in our office, solar power, and the epileptic supply of electricity. I was just telling Madam now, Aramide, Madam, our road after 4 years has not been completed though. A very small road at the Kunlefa way. And we had an agreement on it. And you know, I will pursue the matter. And last point, just about the road. I traveled out of Lagos on one occasion. And I almost had an accident on the way because the road was very bad. Lagos Benin Road. So when I returned to Lagos, I went to court that the federal government had endangered my life on that road. The judge happens to be a Yoruba person. He said, Mr. Falana, you have come again. Do you know the meaning of your name? Full name. I said, no, I can't. I don't know, but of course I knew. He said, Falana, botie, taraini langbo. Falana, mind your own business. Because everybody minds his own business. And I said, my Lord, in minding the business of the society, I mind my own business. Even if I don't die on that road, a relation may die on the road. And so please, let all of us, with effect from today, mind our business in the building industry by enforcing the physical urban planning law of Lagos State. I'm sure you are aware. Any building beyond 4 floors now in Lagos, are you aware what should be done? There must be an insurance. So that if there is any incident, payment, damages will be paid to the victims or those who might have lost their life. But because that code is not enforced, building code in Lagos, because it's not enforced, people are killed in collapsed building. And we say, God giveth, God taketh. God has not taken in such circumstances. And that is why I want to appeal to you. If you want us to sign a memorandum of understanding, we are ready to do that. So that with effect from now, Lagosians will know, Nigerians will know that there is a new sheriff in town. And that sheriff will be Architect Majekodumi. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Femi Falana, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Thank you for your words. They cut straight to the heart of what we are faced, the challenges we are faced with in Lagos.